Hey sister, how you doing?
I'm good, Deb. How are
Cool.
you?
Yeah, I'm all right, I'm all right. Quite chilled. I thought today we'd start with a meditation.
I think that's a good idea. I've been really like loads of energy
Yeah,
and just so much.
yeah. Me too. There's a lot of light codes coming to the planet, so
Yeah, I'm
I thought,
feeling them.
yeah, me too. Yeah, so maybe we'll do some grounding. I'll guide
Yeah,
us through a
sounds
bit of
good.
grounding. Is that okay with you?
Mm.
Hopefully everyone will benefit from this. Okay, so just arrive in your space. Perhaps close your eyes here. Just start to breathe to your heart center. Taking in as much air calmly as you can to your heart space. Just allow your breath to go a little bit deeper into the body. Let's aim for the stomach area. So we're in this space. Let's just visualize roots coming out from the bottom of our feet, much like tree roots, going down into Mother Earth. And here in this grounded state of being, this perfect connection to Earth, just allow Mother Earth's golden light energy to come up through those same roots. On each breath, this golden light rises up into your feet, to your lower legs, to your knees, your upper legs, your hips. And just bring your attention back down to Mother Earth as this golden light begins to come up through your root chakra. And joining at the pelvis area, this golden light is now swirling around your stomach, allowing all that nervous energy to just dissipate and fall back to earth. Just take a moment here as we breathe and connect. Just allowing this energy to permeate every cell of your body as it rises up towards your diaphragm. to your chest, to your shoulders, and going down your arms, the top of your arm, to your elbows, to your forearm, your wrists. And now this golden light energy just comes out through the open palms of your hands, filling your aura as this warm, nurturing energy holds you in a safe space. Bring your attention back to your shoulders. As this golden light energy comes up into your neck, the throat area, base of your head, the middle of your head, top of your head. And just allowing now this golden light energy to release itself out through the crown of your head as it spills over you, filling your aura. As we maintain focus on the breath, we just visualize this golden light energy, Mother Earth energy, holding us in this sacred space. As we just come back to our space, hopefully feeling more grounded. Are you feeling more grounded?
Yeah.
Good. So it's a perfect opportunity for us to start speaking about sovereignty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling my body is, I don't know about yourself, but that tightness, you know, the neck, everything is kind of like, but again, it's the energies that are coming in. It's the tension, the energy coming in, the body handling that. That's why it's so important to ground and to activate the body and move it and, you know, shake out a little bit.
Yeah. Walking nature is good for that, right?
Sorry?
Walking in nature is good for that.
Yes, definitely. Definitely.
Yeah.
I'm glad I've got a dog, actually. If not, I don't get out.
Yeah. Get you out. Fantastic.
Yeah. Cool, Debs. So what are we going to talk about? Sovereignty.
Sovereignty, yeah.
Sovereignty.
I guess what that means on a physical level and what it means on a spiritual level. We're seeing a lot of posts being flung around about common law on a physical level. This is the sovereignty side being recognised. I'm sure you've watched the video called Straw Man.
Yeah, It's quite long. Every single time I tried to watch it last year, I'd fall asleep, but I've kind of seen until Parliament.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, yeah, it's very, very powerful, actually. I think we should leave it in the link below or something so people can watch it.
I never leave links in below, so it will always be in Bella Motion from my part. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Yeah, sorry, yeah, let's just do that. We'll put it in Bella.
because that's usually where I share stuff like that I feel
It's
is
in there.
informative. Yeah, so it's there. So yeah, if you haven't already checked out our Bella Motion on group on Telegram, go there, and there's a wealth of information. It's not just myself and Amazee posting in there. People are free to post, like-minded people are free to post in there, so there's a wealth of information there. But yeah, just touching on straw man and how it guides us through the whole story of how we're basically enslaved from the elites and the powers that be, that all amount to corporations. I mean, I you know, it's all kind of acid forming business, which really, I mean, when you watch it, it makes me get a lot of things, like feelings that I've had. It kind of answers so many questions for me. I don't know what it brought up for you.
Well, I was just fascinated by just understanding how, like, your birth certificate is really, it's like a company, you know? So they create the birth certificate so that you're a company, so they can actually do what they do to you, so they can control you in that sense.
Earn off of you,
We have never known, we've always thought that that's just the way it is, right? I've never understood that. And now it's like, oh, hang on a minute, I do have my own human sovereignty. I do have my own, I can actually decide. I can not pay that fine if I don't want to.
Yeah.
You know, I can actually not have to go to that court case if I don't want to. It's actually knowing the rules, knowing the law, knowing how to speak out the law, and expressing that. And actually, yeah, it's like it was only given to the few, when really we should all have that human sovereignty. We should all have the right
to
be in that divine supreme space, if you will, not just the queen.
Yeah, and the rest of the elites.
Yeah.
Yeah, not like what I got from that is the birth certificate of the debtor, which is the copy of the original, which the original birth certificate is the birth certificate of the creditor. Even the words, it's like, it's business forming. We're not businesses, but we are walking around like mini corporate companies, and there are people earning off of our back, which is not a sovereign space. Having the awareness, I feel like I'm becoming more and more sovereign as I have the knowledge. So it's really important for people to have this knowledge, because the more people that have this knowledge, the more that this facade crumbles and falls. And the fact that this birth certificate, everything we've questioned, you know, like I've had this conversation with my uncle, who used to say, he used to make comments like 40 thieves at the top, right? And as a kid, I never used to understand what he meant. Like, he's an old Cockney guy, right? But he used to have this saying, 40 thieves at the top. And my God, was he right? Really, was he right on so many levels? Yeah, because they do command us via this copy of birth certificate, whereby they can summons us to court. They can come and take our kids away from us, because we've also signed our kids over to this system.
And it's not, you know, it's not seen as a kidnap, but it is.
Well, it's a legal kidnap, isn't it? I mean, the courts are corporate companies. So it's just a real eye-opener as to how our sovereignty on a physical level, which then manifests in a spiritual level, right? But on a physical level, how they've imprisoned us and made us smaller. So, you know, no wonder we're feeling like we are, or we can feel like we're lesser than, because the whole system is built on us being lesser than on an energetic level. So no wonder we have things like, you know, self-esteem. There's a rise in guys committing suicide because they can't earn, because they think that that's what their role is. You know, it's from beginning to end is a shit show, really.
Also, let me comment, Debs.
Yeah.
When it comes to businesses, like I closed down my business in October, but I was running a very successful conscious eco cleaning business in Brighton. And I mean, I was making about 120 grand a year. And but you know, that was a turnover, okay, but the profit was much smaller because 70% of that went out to my cleaners, because I looked after them well, you know. I paid them £12 an hour. It was a high-end service. It wasn't a cheap service. But as soon as I kind of went into, as soon as I was doing well, I bought off another business and I had about 130 clients. But as soon as I bought off this other business, I was making more than 80,000. So I had to, you know, start paying VAT. And this VAT, it just kills you. You know, it doesn't help. They're taking at least 50% of your earnings, of whatever profit, whatever is left for you, you know, and that just goes to the Queen. That is still happening from, like, you know, 1700s or whenever it was, when, you know, Robin Hood days.
Yeah.
Right? When they would steal from the poor. It's still happening right in front of our eyes.
Yes.
That's the crazy thing.
Yeah.
You know, and taking back our sovereignty is, yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I've decided not to engage in that.
Yeah.
I've decided not to engage in that, not to, you know, I'm not going to be doing that. I don't want to do that. I don't think anybody wants to give away their money like that. You know, we need to realize that we have been conned. We need to realize that we have been lied to. And it's those little actions in every way, right? In our finance, in our self-esteem, knowing where we stand with certain things.
Yeah.
You know, knowing the liberties and the freedoms that we are, you know, what we can do and what we can't do. And it just all comes down to knowing and finding out the information and researching, which is what we've been doing. And now we're kind of speaking out, sharing it because it's so exciting.
Yeah.
And trying to awaken, you know, showing the way for others. But it's definitely important I also feel that from when we realize this to when we take action, there's a space in time. There's a period there. You know, I remember that, you know, when I woke up to certain things, it took me a little bit of while to actually take that action. But now I think things are so quick because it's right in front of us. It's like, it's here.
Yeah.
So if we take action now, then, you know, the consequences are there. But I do remember, it's important. It's important for us to really take action in this sense.
Yeah, totally. What when you say take action, what do you recommend? What does that look like for you? Not necessarily what you recommend, but what does that look like for you as a human being taking action?
Okay, well, I would say I've always believed that when we take action, it's not about going to save the world and trying to change the world, because a lot of people are doing their roles right now. They're legal people that are doing things. They're people that are organizing the protest. They're doing their thing. You know, it's something, it starts with you, really. It starts with you, I think, in every sense. It's speaking your truth, but also not just, you know, out there with what's happening in the world, but inner, what's happening with yourself, you know, your sovereignty with your relationships, with your partner, you know, with your family members, you know, with just the way you live your life, you know.
Yeah.
Making sure you integrate it with the things that you do and how you maneuver and how you do things now that you're aware and you're conscious. So being more conscious in your actions, you know, because we've been programmed for so many years. Again, we've been programmed into the system to believe that they are higher, that there is a higher force, that there is a higher existence than us. But actually, that we are so powerful. It's knowing how divine we are. We don't know how divine we are. We don't know how divine we are. However, they, the elites, you know, the throne, they know how powerful we are. That's why they have suppressed us this way. Because they have taken control all this time, and they've been wanting the end game, which is, you know, having us totally controlled by, you know, whatever technologies they have, and they've been trying to integrate in us, or whether it be, you know, electronic magnetic fields are in the air, combining it with whatever else, and all of these, you know, engineering things that they do. You know, that's the end game. But because we now know, we need to look into how powerful we are and where we're coming from. Like, I'm finding out that, you know, some of us are priests and priestesses from the Atlantis times. And we have come to this, at this time, we have been on the planet so many years since the beginning of all of this. And we have been coming again and again in every lifetime. And we've been learning the lessons in every single lifetime to be here right now in this moment.
Indeed.
It's not enough to just say, oh, okay. No, we are amazing human beings. And it's tapping into that.
I think for me, on a physical level, I want my birth certificate of the creditor. I want it. So I'm looking into how to obtain that.
So what's that? Sorry, can you explain what that is?
Okay, so the birth certificate of the creditor is basically what the system holds. So the powers that be, wherever, I don't know, wherever office that is, I think it's Richmond somewhere, although you go to you used to be able to go to St. Catherine's House to pick up a copy of your birth certificate, the copy being the birth certificate for the debtor. So the person that's always due to be in debt, basically, is what we're all issued as little corporate companies. So they can earn off of us, so they can control us, so they can tell us, you have to appear in court on this day because you haven't paid this council tax, blah, 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 or we're coming to take your kid away because of blah, blah. You know, they can tell us stuff. But the birth certificate of the creditor is what they hold. And for me, on an energetic level as well as a physical level, I want it back. It belongs to me, you know. My mother didn't mean to give me away to the state. There's no way my mother would have given me away to anyone. So I want it back. Do you know what I mean? I want it back.
But, you know, doing these things in the physical, it really makes you feel good, doesn't it? It's like when I took my daughter out of school last year in England and I came back to Spain to live, I put her in a Steiner school because I was in some way saying, no, I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to allow my child to be taken and programmed and traumatized by the system with whatever narrative you're playing out here right now. I am not going to allow my child to be affected by this, because I know how children get affected and how they get traumatized depending on their belief systems when they're younger. And so many of them are going to live with this belief of the world as a dangerous place. We don't even realize the damage that these children, what has happened right now. When I took my child out of that space and I put her into a different space, I felt like I was winning. I felt like I was winning the battle. I felt like I was like, being the warrior, you know, stepping down and saying, no, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to have this, putting my boundaries down, you know. And the same thing with like moving into a space that I felt closer to Mother Nature, you know, things like that. I think in the physical, it's really important to to take action in the physical, as you're saying. Those are the things that we need to be doing to make us feel more in control. It's taking back control, isn't it?
Yeah, most definitely. And
Very slowly, little things, but taking back control.
Yeah. So like, and once I get that certificate, I don't know what the powers are got, like what it's going to do for me. It could, I'm not sure, but I'm learning about it, and it's making me feel good to learn about it. It's also making me feel empowered, more empowered as a human being, as the sovereign being that I am. Because I don't want this energy holding over me anymore. Because once you see something, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
And that's the thing about awakening. Awakening is seeing things. Things become more transparent to you. And you can't just go, I don't want to see it. It just doesn't work. You can't unsee it.
Yeah, the thing is it's right in our face now. It's like you can't run away from it. You know, before just be like, okay, I'll just log into my Netflix, I'll just close my door and it's all good, you know.
Yeah.
You can't do that right now because it's coming. It's on at your door. It's knocking at your door.
Yeah.
So another thing I think would be good, like I think for people to do, and I think a lot of people are doing this already, which is great to see. But this is why it's good to join Telegram groups like our one, Bella Emotion, just because you can find this information of like, there was a video I think you posted it the other day, a guy saying like what you can say when somebody stops you, when a police stops you, or when a policeman stops you and says, oh, wear your mask, or why aren't you vaccinated? Because why aren't you V'd? Sorry. Because yeah, we've got to be careful with our words, right? It's like, for example, in Spain right now, you are not allowed to go into the cinema. This has happened already here, Debs. Everything that is happening in England has happened here a while ago.
Yeah.
Like we're not allowed in a bar. I'm not allowed in restaurants. I'm not allowed in cinemas. It's happening, you know? And but it's about knowing, like, you can find that information about what you want to say. It's also verbally stating it. It's a good feeling, right? Because sometimes I just wear a mask because I couldn't be bothered, because here in the supermarkets you had to wear it on the street all summer, and sometimes it's not worth the argument, so just put it on. You know, but as long as you're wearing the mask, but you know that the dark forces are not controlling you, that you're basically just doing it because you can't be bothered, and you're basically facing that 3D matrix dimension war zone, if you will, and you know where you stand, it's okay, because it doesn't affect you psychologically, right? Like it's affecting maybe other people that believe that this whole story is true.
Yeah.
But it's knowing kind of what to say. And when you do that, if you say to a policeman and you follow the guide of like, okay, so if he says that, if they keep persisting, you can say this, if you know, and when you do that, it feels so good. The adrenaline, it just feels so exciting to have spoken your truth and done what you needed to do, even if it's a tiny little bit, you know. Everyone can do that, you know, and that's kind of where we're going to gain it back. This is where we're going to get that control back. You know, it's not just about, oh, well, we'll just wait for everybody else to do it. You know, we can start doing that.
Indeed. And I guess, yeah, that's kind of from a physical standing, but like what you've said there is like the knowing that you have, and I'm fully aware that it's a lot different in Spain than it is here at the moment, but that knowing that you have integrity for yourself and honor for yourself, that okay, I'm going to put this on because today I just can't be bothered to get into any discussions. I just need to go and buy my oranges or whatever you're going, you know, my veg or whatever you're going to the supermarket for. And I just want to go back home to my 4D, 5D space where I don't have to interact with that 3D world. So I'm just going to dip in, dip out.
Exactly.
And on a spiritual level, having that knowing for yourself, having that integrity and honor for yourself is part of being in your sovereignty.
Yeah. It's like also, for example, for me, maybe like even drinking the right water and not drinking that water that is not good for me,
Yeah.
That's another part. It's all kind of related. It's like your body. It's
Yeah.
your body. It's your body. It's your space. It's your home, right?
Yeah.
So you know, buying. I now buy. I might buy like rice and things like that in Aldi. I'll go for a once a month drive, put my mask on, and I'll do it. And then I'll just go to the local and get all my fruit, all my veggies, all my, you know, just keep it local. Go and get my eggs down the road. And again, that's another action. That's action towards, in the physical, towards, you know, just kind of doing it your way and creating it your way now, you know, being independent from the system, you know, or trying to be independent in whatever way possible. It's like the water that I drink, same thing. I bought a new water system, and I'm feeling good about that. I'm feeling whole. I'm feeling complete about that, because I'm no longer, you know, buying into this thing, you know, into this kind of matrix that we live in, and all of the stuff that they've stained, you know. I'm starting to kind of clean my space, you know,
definitely.
clean my space from these corporate giants in every sense, you know, in every way, because they're all over the place. You know, they control so much, right?
Yeah, indeed. We'd be surprised. I mean, when people start going down the rabbit holes and actually finding out what is going on with how much they control, is it's a real eye-opener, and a bit of a gobsmack if you're not used to these kind of rabbit holes, if you like. But, you know, as long as we remember that we are light beings, and now is the time that we need to shine on a big scale. And the more of us that step up to that sovereignty, because that is a sovereignty, knowing that you're a light being, knowing that you're a powerful being, you're a being of love, stepping into that space and really owning that. What does that look like for you? Because as we've said earlier, you know, they've put this kind of web over us where we've been led to believe that, I don't know whether it's this, I find it here in the UK, right? But you can't sort of, you know, sort of showing off too much is kind of not really the done thing here. It's sort of like that stiff upper lip and just sort of, I'll just get on with it. And no one ever questions the leaders, you know, the government, or they don't really question, they just kind of follow, which is we're kind of seeing the flip side of that now, where people are up in arms because it's like, well, you're trying to inject our kids, we're not having that, right? And so all these beings of light are now beginning to shine. So it's not so repressed. I think the word is quite repressed here.
Well, I think it's quite repressed in Spain as well. Like, I think Spanish are quite honest. Like, once if they feel that something isn't right, they'll just go and do it. You know, they just be like, what? You know. But I think England, British as well. You know, I think, but there's a difference between, you know, I think with the Queen and with, like, you know, the government in the UK. For many years, like, a lot of people have had the ability to be able to live off government money. Yeah. So when you've been able to have your rent paid for and have a little bit of money to live off, sometimes as a society, you get kind of comfortable with that, you know. And I think the Queen, in some sense, kind of knew what she was doing. It's like she had everybody kind of at her feet because she was looking after people, with the whole universal credit, with you know, with the help, the child, all the help that she's been given families. But the thing is that if you want to try and pursue a dream, or if you want to try and pursue an objective, or study something, or do a job that pays a little bit more, then that's it. They say, oh no, sorry, we've got to cut off your money. So a lot of people would prefer to just hold on to what they have, and they don't grow spiritually. They're not growing in that sense, you know. That's happened for many years. And I saw that in England when I was living in the UK.
Yeah.
Okay, people are more lazy, Debs.
Yeah.
You know, we are more lazy. And I even felt it, because there were times where I was like, actually, no, I prefer to do this. But then the good thing about this is how amazing we are as spiritual beings, right? So I'm thinking the government might have put that on to suppress us, to make us, you know, love the Queen, love the government, because obviously we can't go against them because they're paying for our rent when we don't have any money or whatever. That's all fine. But the good thing about this is that this has given us time as well for being creative. And in the UK, I have to say that the amount of creativity and it's just beautiful, you know, the club culture, the music culture, the festivals, the color, the creativity. People are crazy in England, in the sense that, you know, even if they've had this kind of suppression, if you will, or this kind of opportunity to be able to, they just had the opportunity to be able to shine in some sense and to grow creatively, you know, like in Spain and many other countries, if you don't work, you can't pay your rent. That's it. So there's no other way. You have to stand up and just go, you know. There's no time to be thinking about, oh, I'm just gonna do a music project or just open up a company. You know, they go mad on like how much you have to pay to be a self-employed here. It's like 300 euros just to begin with. You can't even set up a company. It's not possible here. So, you know, in the UK, there are many opportunities for people to shine, but then also it's not there for you to shine. You know what I mean? It's like, if you use it wisely, then yes. But if you don't, a lot of people get caught up in that comfortableness, you know, and that's part of the system too. It's like, you know, that's part of it as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's like a false sense of security benefits.
Yeah, but I mean, right now we make the most of whatever we can, because there is a bit of a financial, we don't know what's going on. And it's okay to sit on that if you don't have a job, or, you know, I'm not saying that's that in no way, but comparing countries and comparing cultures, the way we are different in that sense. Cultures are, you know, they vary, don't they, depending on how you've been. And also it's a cold country that compared to a hot country, it all changes, you know. But anyway, I'm derailing.
That's all right. All right, we both did a little. But
I was going to mention something, Debs, about this. Last summer, I don't know if you heard of Laura Eisenhower.
No.
I'll put it in the Bellow Emotions if I can find the video, actually. But last year, she did a video which was really, really powerful. And it was a statement of sovereignty. Soberanía. A statement of sovereignty. And she stood up, and because her great grandfather was Eisenhower, President Eisenhower.
Okay.
And she still has connections with him. And, you know, there's some deep thing going on there with like extraterrestrials, and she's amazing. Like, she's insane.
Okay.
She's really, really powerful. I mean, the amount of information that comes out of her mouth, like, she is so interesting. If you really want to go deep into the darkness, she's the woman to listen to, you know. Okay. And so she spoke out, and at that time everybody was doing it, and it's a really good idea to do it. Like, just do a video, or just say it out loud, or write it on a piece of paper saying to the darkness, or to the system, like, you no longer control me. You are no longer controlling me. You know, this is my body. This is my, you know, it's my choice. Okay, this is my space. You are no longer welcome. You are no longer bringing fear into my life. I am pure love. You know, you can, you know, you're all the evil that you are trying to bring to this planet, and all the evil that you have been bringing to this planet is no longer welcome here. Yeah. And also I looked up, there's this website called Human Sovereignty. Have you heard of it? Humansovereignty.org.
Perhaps.
So there's this thing called the Declaration.
So many different alternative websites over the last year.
There's this thing called the Declaration of Human Sovereignty, and you can actually, and it's amazing, because it's actually talking about, I might just read it to you if I've got it here somewhere, actually. Hang on. It's talking about, like, not just the planet, you know, it's like Declaration of Human Sovereignty, as in, like, your freedom, like galactically, not just on this earth. So it says, I'll read it to you, yeah?
Yeah, I do.
It says, we, the people of Earth, extend greetings to all races in the greater community of the universe. We acknowledge our common heritage before the creator of all the universe, both visible and invisible. We declare the planet Earth as humanity's planet of Genesis, our home world, and our sacred inheritance. We pledge henceforth to sustain and preserve the Earth for all generations to come. We call upon all humanity to treat all races everywhere with wisdom and justice, here on Earth and throughout the universe. And then it's got fundamental rights and the assessment, and it's demands and declarations, but it's really interesting actually. And it just goes to show how small we are, as in, like, we're big, we're huge, but what I'm saying is that our limited mind does not comprehend quite yet how big this is.
Yeah.
You know, and how that race, this race that took over the planet in Atlantis times, these reptilians, if you will, I'm not going to say that, they are minor. No, seriously, they are minor. They are minor. And there's so many outer families now, galactic families taking care of us. And this is why we're feeling this light coming in, you know. This is why all of our darkness is bubbling up. This is why all of our angers are bubbling up. It's because we need to address this. And this is how we create that human sovereignty that we so need, that we so want, right?
Yeah, indeed. So that was good. Thanks for reading that out.
Yeah, I thought it was quite interesting.
Yeah, there's quite a few things floating around. I shared something the other day, which was I cancel all contracts that I was not made aware of, something like that. I'm a being of light and I am free on this earth and throughout this universe. Words to that effect, I'm paraphrasing, but yeah, very powerful, very short, but very powerful. Because it is a case of we have been drawn into contracts, coerced into contracts that we didn't actually, we had our free will played against us, basically, and we still continue to do it in certain things because of this whole birth certificate scenario that we were speaking about earlier. But yeah, so also what I wanted to touch on as part of sovereignty is masculine, feminine energies. Because I do believe that having an awareness of whether, I'm not talking about man energy and woman energy, I'm talking about feminine energy and masculine energy, which we can hold as a man or a woman. And some will kind of hold more of one than the other, perhaps. But it's about having a balance of those energies and what they actually represent. Whereas the masculine energy is a bit more forthright, but it's actually okay for a woman to hold a masculine energy and be forthright. Because if in our past, us wild women, when we have put ourselves over in an assertive manner, it can be very easily be misconstrued as aggressive or, oh, she's trouble, that one. The amount of times I've been called trouble in my life because
God, that's crazy. When I got
speaking my truth,
people would call me trouble too.
Yeah.
But I wasn't trouble as in, I don't know, they just call me trouble.
Yeah, it's because you were speaking your truth, because you were being more forthright, because you was engaging with your masculine energy.
Yeah, maybe.
Which is, it's your sovereign right. That is your sovereign right to do that.
Or maybe it was because, maybe in your case, it was because you were with your masculine energy. But in my case, I think it was because I was with my feminine energy. It's funny. It's like, because I was expressing my feminine energy, and therefore, because I was expressing my feminine energy and I was dancing and I was kind of free, I was trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, it's interesting, right? This is a whole other subject.
It is really, actually. Yeah, we've probably
We
not.
need to do another video on
We could
that.
do, yeah, we can, and on feminine and
It's very
masculine
interesting,
energy.
but I do understand that it's very important to do because, and this is why that needs to be in balance as well. And the reason why it's out of balance is because of the system that we've lived in. Again,
Yeah,
suppressing
totally.
the women, you know, and also men being suppressed by this whole feminism thing going on as well, not allowing them to be the men that they're meant to be, you know.
Yeah.
It's a complicated world, you know.
Very, very complicated.
Because everybody has their own perception depending on their own experiences. So when you come into a conversation with somebody about this, it's not worth it because they're going to be speaking from their perception. You're going to be speaking from your perception. And if something happened to you with a man, then you're going to be thinking, you know, you're going to be, you know, towards feminism and believing in all of that. And, you know, it's very difficult to come to an agreement. But what we do know is that as human beings, we have female energy and male energy. Masculine, sorry.
Masculine. No, it's not. That's my whole point. It's not female energy, it's feminine energy.
Feminine
when
energy.
You say female energy, then a man will be like, oh no, I don't really want to be in a female.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's feminine.
yeah.
Sorry, that's
feminine, masculine, very different things. Very, very different things.
But it's very important to work on both of them. And I do that with my dances, with my sessions. So, you know, going into like some soft music and being tender, being soft with yourself, allowing yourself to be soft, allowing yourself to be tender, you know. And the same thing, you know, with women, allowing yourself to take action, allowing yourself to speak out, allowing to be angry. It's okay to be angry because if you do it from your power, you're speaking out. The thing is, right, I want to finish with this. We're going to have to finish soon. But I want to say something is really important. And I had this in my mind before we started and I hadn't said it. You know how the Queen has the royal, you know, the sovereignty, the sovereignty, yeah? She has the power, yeah? This is our time to walk in that same way. I have an exercise that I get people to kind of walk like kings and queens and to walk very, very slowly. And to feel that energy of walking like a king, walking like a queen. Like, you know what I mean? Nothing is stopping you. You have the power. And really feel that in your body. It's so important right now to be able to carry yourself in that way and having that, as you're saying, you know, that feminine energy, that masculine energy merging together so that we can be powerful and speak out and make those changes, as you were saying. Super important. I just wanted to say that thing about the crown, like imagining that we all have crowns, because we have crowns, we have like diamonds surrounding us, we have angels, we have so much more than just an object, a piece of metal that you can put on your head or a piece of gold that, you know, someone who thinks they're superior from us wears on her or his head. You know what I mean? We have to embody that. We have to embody that power.
Yeah, definitely. I hear that totally. Yeah, we have a crown chakra. That is the only crown you ever need. And you need to make sure that that's open and balanced. Yeah. And from there, that's where your sovereignty is going to pour into on a spiritual level. Because that's where the light is coming in. That's where your higher self is, and your connection to your higher self is made. On a physical level, that's where it starts to be, you know, that's where it starts the connection. So it just filters down from there. So definitely we need to walk tall.
Yeah, interesting.
Tall.
And it's all symbolisms as well, you know, with the royals and the elite, and you know, they've known that we have these chakras. They know, you know, it's like the dollar, the pound that you showed in the video in Bella Emotion as well, with the crown on there, the coronavirus, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Crown, the C.
Yeah.
Interesting. It's just, and it's also C for chakra. So let's switch it. Let's turn it around, right?
Yeah.
Let's take that crown back and put it on our head, you know, and focus on our crown. Exactly. And that's why we need to have that conscious living, moving from 3D to 5D. That is why we need to live in 5D. That is why we want to live in 5D.
Yay.
Yeah, baby.
For sure, we do indeed. But yeah, there's lots more to speak about on the masculine, feminine.
Yeah, I think we need to do
stuff.
another.
I think that's a whole nother talk into itself. But I just want to touch a little bit more on it, because there's a lot of guys that feel that they are, you know, they have to man up. They're not allowed to cry. And I think it's the most dangerous thing on the planet for a guy not to cry, because, you know, men have hearts, men have emotions, men have feelings. And if there is something that is disturbing you, you need to cry. It heals the heart. You know, we can't have guys that think that they're not worthy of anything because they're not earning a living, or because they're not, you know, running around in the jungle going to, you know, hunt and provide food. You know, the male role model is really somewhat off balance, you know. And there's, you know, the high rate of suicides in men is just climbing. It just seems to be going through the roof. And I think it's very much because they don't feel like they're sovereign beings anymore. You know, it's so hard because of the whole system that we are born into. It's so hard to and it's getting harder to make a living and to make ends meet, you know, without basically burning yourself out, because, you know, you're a product of labor. You know, it's your labor that you have to get these dollars, to be able to, you know, to get these pounds to be able to spend on blah, 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 and provide for your family. So I think it's, yeah, there's so much to touch on that. There's just a lot. There's a lot to touch on there.
It's the system we've lived in again, Debs. It's
Yeah,
it's
totally.
it. The boys don't cry. Boys don't cry. Don't cry. Don't cry. You can't cry. Man up. Go. Move. You don't have time to channel the emotions, to express them. These are suppressed emotions, and they cause disease. They cause disease in the body, and therefore this is why we are feeling pain. We are feeling, you know, anxiety, because we're not releasing it. And you know what, guys out there, it's okay. It's okay to cry. And if you don't have, I think this is the time, right? So the male energy right now, okay, maybe they don't have that masculine energy to be able to go out and do their work and do, because they've been programmed to do that. But it's okay. This is the time to turn around and be soft with yourself and be tender with yourself, and just close the door and cry it out. You know, write down on a piece of paper what happened to you when you were a child. Write down how you're feeling every day. You know, there's a really good thing that I do. I don't do it anymore, but I was doing it when I had my chronic pain, and it's writing down 3 pages of whatever you want when you wake up. And on that page, you leave all your emotions, you leave all the rubbish that you wake up with in your head, and then you start your day and your heart just is connected fully, and then your day is much better. You know, it's finding these practices so that you can sustain, and understanding that, yeah, this is the time to go in and be soft with ourselves. If we are always trying to get out there and trying to do our thing, and it's okay, it's time to actually, you know, be tender with yourselves. Even, you know, men and women, you know, they have the same situation, right? It's like, you know, they've always been attacked. It's a sin to do this. You know, you're dirty if you do that. And, you know, it's also an issue. But right now, with the current situation, I would agree with you that men are finding it hard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
definitely. More than women, because I think women, they're just creating, they're just doing, because it's been in their genes to have that kind of repression for a long time. But now it's happening to the men, you know, because men are finding that issue. They're finding it hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, guys don't really speak on the same level as women. Like, we are more open to speak about our emotions. You know, it's not a problem for me to say to you, you know what, babes, I feel a bit down today. I feel a little bit pissed off because blah, 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 blah. And we'll kind of give each other the space and time to kind of share that emotion. And so, you know, it's not always about making a suggestion to that person. Sometimes it's just about listening and hearing them. And actually that makes that person feel better because they've been heard. Someone's heard them and they haven't judged them.
Yeah, it's no judgment. It's compassion right now. No judgment, because we're spiritual beings and we haven't been told this. And again, we're going back to the whole history of who we are, right? The whole history of who we are, and understanding that emotion is energy in motion, that it's just energy flowing through you at a low frequency, and it needs to be out. It needs to come out of your body. It's a low frequency emotion. It's a misaligned emotion. It's a misaligned emotion that does no longer serve you. So that's why you have to write it on a piece of paper, or you can release it in any kind of way. And yeah, listening to your man, listening to your cousin, listening to your brother. Men need to be heard. Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Most
definitely.
They
need to be heard because they have feelings. And we all have, we're beautiful beings of light. We have feelings, emotions flow through us. Definitely.
Well, it's better for them to speak, in my opinion. Well, and it is only my opinion. It's better for them to speak than to become angry and then start projecting that anger out into the world, because that's another story right there.
Oh God. Yeah, speaking your truth. Yeah, definitely, because it comes out wrong when you've been suppressed and your truth has not been coming out. When you have the opportunity for it to come out, it comes out as anger, and it comes out perhaps in the wrong situation, or perhaps, you know what I mean, it comes out with an angry energy. So yeah, it's about releasing that to be able to, you know, come to the heart and take care of oneself, and, you know, and be good to oneself, because with that anger you can hurt another person, another being. So, and also, I mean, anger is not a bad thing though. Okay, it's not a bad thing, but it can be a bit problematic, especially in the current situations. If there's a lot of anger, it can come back to us. So, you know, we just need to be a little bit aware. Like if we go to a protest, for example, Debs, you know, you know, you do see the energy of people getting angry and thinking, oh, okay, great, this is it, this is our opportunity, we're going against.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got
it's too much, you know, you've got to be careful. You've got to be careful.
Totally. And
they switch the story, and then we're the crazies, you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
In that sense, we've got to be careful politically, like right now.
Yeah, totally. And I've got a couple of male friends that would be like, oh, you know, these protesters are just, you know, pussies. Like they need to go there and we need to do this with violence. And I'm like, no, bruv, that is not the way. It's really not the way. You can't see these people, and a lot of them are young men that are actually at that protest, and a lot of the young men that have been going around acting as constables, doing the work that they're doing, are doing this from a peaceful standing point. Yeah. And they're articulating themselves because they have the knowledge. They have the knowledge of who they are, where they've come from, what is happening, what system we're in. And they know that if they start to use that anger in that way, it's just going to get them put in prison. And then that's it, we're done. And then there's going to be another law put in to do X, Y, Z. No, it isn't the way. It is through peaceful protest. This is a peaceful space that we're in, peaceful time. And that's the only way we're going to sort of draw our hand out of this.
Knowledge is power.
Energy.
Knowledge is power,
totally.
Right? And I think now what the best thing one can do, if one wants to find out more and fight the fight, is to do the research. You know, first of all, find out what it's all about, and then, you know, you can understand why it's not a good idea to feed fire to the fire, to put more wood into the fire, you know, because if you go with anger, if you go with, you know, if you have that energy in those protests, it's like you're part of them. It's like you're giving into the system.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's dark. And we're all about the light. So it's about knowing that this is a spiritual warfare between dark and light.
And that's it. It's the knowledge. It's having the knowledge.
I've got to leave you, my darling.
No problem, my love. All right. We speak again.
It's been interesting.
Yeah.
And guys, catch us at Bella Emotion. Telegram is the way forward because it's free, uncensored, and me and Debs will be there as well, and loads of other lovely, beautiful, awakened human beings that are realizing how amazing we are, and you know how amazing this time actually is. So yeah, in community, unity in community, ladies and gentlemen.
And hold your sovereign space, people. Find out more what makes you a sovereign being, because you are a sovereign being. You need to start believing that. You need to start knowing that, and you need to start having the knowledge of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, watch things like the straw man. And as Amazee already said, go to our Telegram group. We're always posting lots of good informative videos and articles there. So take a look.
All right then, lots of love. Bye.
Take care, babes.
See you on the next one.